After it passes the turmoil of Great Falls, the Potomac winds through the monuments of Washington, D.C. The river meets Potomac Creek in White Oak, in Stafford County, Virginia. This confluence is where, in 1613, English colonists kidnapped Pocahontas as she visited a Potomac Indian village. 400 years later, Potomac Indians still live on the creek. One of them is waterman Carl Schoen, who goes by Boozy.
It's hard on me. I'm getting a little age on me, but I still love crabbing.
He's often alone, but this summer, Boozy has an extra set of hands.
I'm Jack Hatch. I'm a Potomac Indian. I'm an apprentice commercial fisherman to Boozy. I'm a MA student at the Virginia Institute of Marine Science.
Jack is nearing the end of his apprenticeship. One season isn't nearly enough time to pass along generations of ancestral knowledge and 8 decades of lived experience, but it's a start.
Taught him, I guess I've taught him, I tried to, that the moon rules the tide. The wind and the tides and all work together in different ways. And to watch the sky, all that old stuff, watch the sky and watch the clouds in the sky. Just nature, you have to understand nature first, work with it.
He feels the wind change. He'll tell me which direction it's coming from because he just knows. He's been here so long. As soon as it happens, he knows where it's coming from and what it means for the fish.
This river is like land. You got hills, you got valleys, deep trenches, and once you learn it, you learn where the fish will travel. If you can get in their path, you catch a lot. If you're out the path, you don't catch too much.
The focus is catching crabs, but at Jack's request, they've cast a wider net.
We sort of got into eeling kind of by accident. We just caught an eel one day in a crab pot. I don't know, I liked looking at it, so I asked. I knew he had eeled. I knew he'd done a lot of eeling, knew a lot about it, so I asked him if we could set a few eel pots so he could teach me how to do that too.
Probably caught one eel.
Yeah, probably nothing. Yeah, 2 eels.
Modern regulations require fishermen to use wire pots. But when Boozy was young, they used wooden traps, handmade the Potomac Indian way.
Started making them when I was 6 years old with my granddaddy. You weave it on a mold. It's a big chunk of wood that we had.
At 84, Boozy is the last member of the Potomac tribe who grew up making and using the traditional pots. But he won't be the last to practice the craft.
I'm Brad Hatch. I'm the chief judge on the tribal council for the Potomac Indian tribe. I've got a PhD in anthropology, focused mainly in archaeology. My youngest brother, Jack, has been learning how to fish with Boozy Schoen, who's one of the men who taught me how to make eel pots. In some ways, it's an object that kind of represents everything that we are as a community. I mean, you know, it's made of a material that you find in the woods, but it's used to fish with, so you've got that connection between the land and the water. It's an indigenous object, but it's also got a lot of influence from, like, you know, European culture, African culture, all the different, like, mixing of culture that happened here. I'll need 2 of these because I'm using them as wraps.
Woven from split white oak and often dipped in tar, Potomac-style eel pots were ubiquitous on fishing boats in the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
So the man that taught me first how to make these eel pots was D.P. Newton. We went and cut a tree, and he taught me how to split the tree and everything. We did all that together, and I finished my first one, and then shortly after I finished my first one, I was working on a second one, and he passed away during that time. There was a short period there when I thought, like, oh gosh, I'm like the only person who knows how to do this who is still living. A few months after, I met Boozy Schoen, and he was the man who had taught DP how to make these pots. And then I started spending a lot of time with Boozy and learning even more about how to make the pots.
I'm making a half-scale Potomac-style eel pot.
Eager to share what he'd learned, Brad started taking on apprentices. One of them was fellow archaeologist and Potomac citizen, Reagan Anderson.
Kind of felt like Reagan would take to it pretty well.
Yeah.
So asked her to do it, and
And I took to it really well.
Yeah, she took to it really well, and kind of the rest is history.
I wanted to do it because it's been in my family. I've always heard about the eel pots. My great-grandfather used to fish with them. It'll be hard for me to take this off of the mold because I weave it so tight. Like, I had to call Jack one time to come take it off the mold for me because I couldn't get it off.
I guess there is kind of pressure on you to like carry it on for something that has come so close to
Being
going
extinct,
away in
yeah.
Virginia altogether.
You know, I don't want it to just be, you look at the pictures in the Smithsonian in 50 years and there you go, you just have pictures of them. You know, I want people to be able to see them in person being weaved.
It's, I think, a sense of responsibility, but at the same time, it's like one of those responsibilities that, you know, I'm happy to have. Oh, yeah, I've seen that picture, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brad is a keeper of ancestral knowledge in other ways, too, compiling photographs and memories, like those of the tribe's quilting circle.
The clump of trees are still right there. You know, you can still see them right there in the picture.
This evening, they're gathered creekside, a spot with a view that stayed more or less the same for generations.
So we are basically sitting where this boat would be right here.
Right. It just feels like we come down here and we're home. This is home for us.
Right here.
Yep, in our heart, you know.
It's pretty remarkable to be able to sit in a spot like this, to be able to think about all the people that came before us and how they made their life off of this water and off these lands and how we're still doing it today.
As the crab harvest comes to a close, Jack prepares to return to school to finish his master's. His focus is oyster aquaculture, but he's not ready to trade the old ways for the new just yet.
Yeah, one of the big reasons that I want to keep doing this is to preserve the tradition of commercial fishing in White Oak. Our culture is also rapidly disappearing, and I think that this is a pretty tangible way to preserve that and also to pass it on to another generation one day. And I think that's important.